מתייסר, מי עני ומי עשיר, מי יושפל ומי ירום. בראש השנה יחתמון, וביום צום כיפור יחתמון. בראש השנה יחתמון, וביום צום כיפור יחתמון. We read together in English at the bottom of page 178 the powerful words of Unatana Toka. On Rosh Hashanah this is written, on the fast of Yom Kippur this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by peace? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? On page 180. Uteshuva, utefila, utsedaka, ma'avirin et ha'gezera. Together we read, but through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. We'll continue with a reading by Catherine Avery on page Catherine Sykes on page 200.
Malchiyot, accepting your sovereignty. We are stiff-necked and stubborn. Teach us to bend before you. Convinced we're right, entrenched in our own perspective, we resist your call to repent. Convinced we're self-sufficient, entrenched in the illusion of control, we resist your call to humility. Convinced we can have it all, entrenched in the dream of mastering the world, we resist your call to wake up. Today you summon us out of our arrogance, out of rigidity, fantasy, shallowness, self-deception. Teach us to bend our knees, to bow our heads before the mystery, to realize our frailty and our finitude. Teach us to make you melech, sovereign in our life, to align ourselves with your goodness and truth. We would not bow before Pharaoh. We would not bow before the Persian ruler. We would not submit to any power on earth or give ourselves to any material thing, but we, the Jewish people, stiff-necked, stubborn to the end, today we bow before you.
Page 202, the traditional Aleinu Gadol said before the first shofar blast of 3 on Rosh Hashanah day. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'akol la'tei kedumah le'yosef b'reishit she'asano kegoye ha'aratzot. now turn to page 206 for the first call of the shofar of 3 on this Rosh Hashanah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'ehyanu v'kihanu v'higyanu b'azman hazeh. In English together, source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, summoning us to hear the sound of the shofar. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding the light within us, and bringing us to this time. Tekiah, Shvarim Truah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Truah, Tekiah. On the top of page 207, Hayom Harat Olam, Hayom Ya'amid B'mishpat Kol Yitzurei Olamim. We read in English. Today the world is born anew. This day the whole of creation stands before you to be judged. As we are your children, love us in the way of mothers and fathers. As we are yours in service, guide us by the light of your grace and holiness. Reshet Sifateinu Yarad Lefanecha El Ram Benisa. Reshet Sifateinu Yarad Lefanecha El Ram Benisa. Me'ivinu Mazim Avihu Makshib Lekol Tekiyatenu. Utakabel Barakamim Barakamim Urason Seder Seder Mahuyoteinu. For the rest of the Amidah, we continue in silent prayer. Whether the prayers of the words on the page or the prayers of the words in our hearts. We continue until page 220. Please be seated when you are finished. Page 220.
Rosh Hashanah.
On page 221, we'll read responsively. Hear the sound of the shofar, you who are caught up in the daily routine, losing sight of eternal truth. You who waste your years in vain pursuits that neither profits nor save.
What makes my heart, my soul, needs to be awakened by the shofar? What truly matters to me? What makes me feel that my life is significant? And I too often wasting my most precious possessions, the minutes, the hours, the days of my life.
You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive.
If I am slow to anger, quick to forgive, what would my loved ones say? Does anger interfere with my relationships? Am I impatient at home? Am I intolerant with colleagues and friends?
Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, may we taste anew the sweetness of each day. Renew us for a year of goodness.
Renew thy moments of sweetness and beauty. As the new year begins, where will I devote my best energies? How can I bring more goodness to the lives of others?
I call upon David Blatt for a reading on page 222.
Loving Father, infinite power, gentle, forgiving, lofty, inscrutable. Compassionate Mother, omnipotent Lord, comforting presence, fathomless mystery. Our rock and redeemer, life of the universe, close to us always, impossibly far. Embracing, confounding, accepting our frailty, decreeing our end. None of these are true, none of them are you. Yet we stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love. May these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you.
At the bottom of page 223, we'll rise as we'll sing Avinu Malkeinu. And following the singing of Avinu Malkeinu, we'll read the Hebrew and English responsively at the top of page 223. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Aleinu, Aleinu, Ki Eimanu Masim, Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Ne'oshienu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Aleinu, Aleinu, Ki Eimanu Masim. At the top of the page, Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, chamol aleinu, va'al olalenu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our enemies.
Avinu Malkeinu, kale dever v'cherev v'ra'av me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu, kale kol tsar umastin me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu, kotvenu b'sefer hayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew us our spirit of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Aleinu v'aleinu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh We're about to enter into our Torah service. When first we appeared on the stage of world history, a book was in our hands. This book, this sacred scroll, and we were told this is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart. And we were told, you can surely do it. And then we learned, this is where heaven and earth touch. We are the people of the book. Through fire and mud and dust, we have borne our scrolls tenderly as a baby swaddled in a basket, traveling with our words sewn in our clothes and carried on our backs. Let us take up the scroll of Torah and dance with it and touch it and read it and make it light. So does light enter us and we shine. I'm excited to call up Carol Roberts and David Slifkin as we begin our Torah service on page 227. Please rise. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imot le'olam bo'eh Adonai ozem lo yitein We now invite Carol and David to please take the Torah out of the ark. Ti 228, we read in English, Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving and true, showing mercy to the thousandth generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon. Responsively, we'll read in Hebrew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh V'Norah Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh V'Norah Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai Iti, U'neromama Shemo Yachdav.
Gadlul Adonai Iti, U'neromama Shemo Yachdav.
Lecha Adonai HaGedula, VeHaGevura, VeHaTiferet, VeHaNetzach, VeHaOd. Ki kol HaShamayim u'Haaretz, Ki kol HaShamayim u'Haaretz. Lecha Adonai HaMalacha, VeHamin HaSeh lechol nerosh. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachanu le'ar kodsho. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachanu le'ar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romenu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachanu le'ar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachanu le'ar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachanu le'ar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachanu le'ar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Please be seated. He was told by God to take his son, his only son, whom he loved, and go forth to a strange land. He was told to offer him there as a sacrifice. This must be a test, the man anxiously thought. Concerned, the man ventured with his son, donkey, and 2 servants up the mountain that God had pointed him toward. Some weary days later, the man squinted. Vayisa Abraham et einav. He lifted his eyes. He lifted his eyes, and he saw in the distant horizon a beautiful mountain, evoking the wonders of our natural world. It's amazing what can happen when you lift your eyes. The man continued. He left his donkey and his servants at the foothills and ventured toward the peak with his son still silent. They arrived, and as the man readied the sacrificial offering, his quiet son timidly asked, "Dad, I see the wood for the fire, but where's the ram for the offering? The man paused, took a breath, and responded, God will see to it. The man built the altar, bound his son, and picked up his knife to slay the son. If only then the man had lifted his eyes. It's amazing what can happen when you lift your eyes. Abraham, Abraham, shouted an angel of God. Abraham recoiled. Hineni, I'm right here. Put down the knife. Isaac is your son. Aghast, Abraham stopped, felt the beating of his own heart, and stepped back. Only then, Vayisa Abraham et Einav, Abraham lifted his eyes, only to see a ram, a sacrifice, a replacement for his son. It's amazing what can happen when you lift your eyes. Perhaps Abraham was so focused on his dreadful and apparently inescapable task that he couldn't see what was right there, right nearby, in plain sight. Rashi, the 11th century French rabbi and prolific Torah commentator, notes that the ram was predestined to be present in that moment, specifically for Abraham to use for his purposes. The ram was predestined, so God knew all along. God knew that Abraham would find a way out of this horrible sacrifice. God knew that Abraham needed to redirect not only his hand and knife away from his son, but also his eyes and his heart away from the idea that God truly demanded such an awful, awful task. God knew. The true miracle is not that Abraham found the ram. The ram was always there. Rather, Abraham vayisa et einav. He lifted up his eyes. The ram was always there in the sense that God had never really intended for Abraham to kill Isaac, but rather for Abraham to be granted the ability to lift his eyes and see. God intended for Abraham to lift his eyes and perceive a better choice. The fact that Abraham is able to undergo a change of understanding just in time and see alternatives is quite powerful. In our daily lives, we don't climb mountains and engage in human sacrifice. We do, however, find ourselves in the unknown quite often. A new job, a new school, a new home, a new child. And when we are in the unknown, sometimes we do not know how to navigate our daily lives. We find ourselves so entrenched in our daily routines, we forget to lift our eyes and search for new alternatives. And often, the answer, like the ram, is right in front of us. A book, a friend, ourselves. From our ancient tradition, like Abraham, when we find ourselves stuck in the weeds, not knowing where our next step lies, let us remember that there are rams all around us. We too can learn to seek out everyday miracles that are often missed, but always just in front of our eyes. May we be strengthened to lift our eyes when we are unsure of where to go, and may we be strengthened with the sensibility to, like Abraham, seek alternatives that make us feel safe when we venture out into the unknown. For our first Torah reading, for our first Aliyah, I'd like to call up Rick Gravish. And for our Torah reader, we have Brooke Freeman. Ya'amod Yaakov Michael van Abraham B'Sara La'aliyah Rishonah.
Baruchu et Adonai Hambarak. Baruch Adonai Hambarak Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Barakarbanu Mikol Ha'amin. Ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayahi achar hadavarim ha'ele veha Elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer Chachna et bincha et yechidcha asher ahavta et Yitzchak velech lecha el eretz hamoriyah vehahalehu sham leolam al echad heharim asher omar elecha vayashkem Avraham baboker vayash kavosh et chamoro vayikach et shnei na'arav ito vayet Yitzchak beno vayivaka atzei Allah vayakam vayelech al hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lano Torah Emet Ve'kayei Olam Natat B'Tokenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
We'll continue with our second aliyah. I'd like to call up Bert Dolgan for our aliyah and for our Torah reader Renee Cohen-Jones. Ya'amod Borech Yitzchak ben Moshe le'aliyah Shniya. The Torah reading is on page 240. Starting with verse 4.
Baruchu Adonai Hambarak. Baruch Adonai Hambarak Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amin V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Hayom hashlishi vayisa Avraham et einav v'ra et hamakom merachok vayomer Avraham el na'arav shevu lachem po im hachamor ve'ani lechanar Ad kol v'nishachave v'nashuva alechem v'yikach Avraham et hazeh ha'olam v'yasem al Yitzchak beno v'yikach b'yado et ha'esh ve'et ha'machelet v'yalchu shnechem yachdav v'yomer Yitzchak El Avraham Avi, Vayomer Avi, Vayomer Hineni Beni, Vayomer Hinei Ha'esh, V'ha'itzim Ve'eh, Vayehaseh Leolah, Vayomer Avraham Elohim, Yireh lo שניכם יחדיו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם לטוב בחלקנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
For our third Aliyah, we call up Adrian Zobel, starting with verse 9. Ta'amod Isha Bat Chaim Ve'eda L'Aliyah Shlishit.
And our reader is the rabbi.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Atah Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'tanot Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayavo el hamakom asher amar lo haElohim vayiben sham Avraham et hamizbeach v'ya'aroch et ha'itzim v'ya'akod et Yitzhak beno v'yasem oto al hamizbeach mimal ha'itzim. Vayishlach Avraham et yado, vayikach et hamachelet, lishchot et beno. Vayikra elav, malach Adonai min hashamayim, vayomer Avraham, Avraham, vayomer hineni, vayomer Al tishlach yadcha el hana'ar, ve'al ta'as lo me'uma, ki ata yadati, ki yarei alehem ata, ve'lo chasachta, et bincha, et yechidcha mimeni. Vayisa Abraham et einav, Vayar v'hine ayil achar nechaz basvach b'karnav. Vayelech Avraham vayikach et ha'ayil vayaleu le'ola tachat beno. Vayikra Avraham shem hamakom hahu Adonai yireh. Asher Ye'amer Hayom Behar Adonai Yira'eh.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata Botechenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
On page 245, it's said that when the Torah is in our midst, that the gates of heaven are opened just ever more slightly. So we'll take this time to do a Misha Berach L'cholim, a Misha Berach for those who are in need of healing, whether of the body, of the mind, or of the soul. So as my eyes meet yours, feel free to say names of people whom you are thinking out loud or in your hearts.
Esther Butler. Mayor Velasco.
Jerry Lewis. Suzanne Troutway.
Acadia Hale. George King.
Carly Alger, Jim Wright.
Belton Landers.
Sharon Castle.
Mary Bain.
Harold Ginsberg.
Louis Portillo. Aaron
David Soros.
Fran McCleary.
Delphine Rosenblatt.
Sing together.
Source of strength, whom thus the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishenera, Imotenu, bless those in need of healing with Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So this Haftarah for Rosh Hashanah morning is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 1, verses 1 through chapter 2, verse 10. The Haftarah reading will be found on page 252. Hayom Harat Olam. Today the world is born anew. These words recited after the shofar is sounded underscore a central theme of Rosh Hashanah: creation and the renewal of life. The traditional Torah reading for the first day of Rosh Hashanah accentuates this message. Genesis 21, the Akedah, which we just read, tells the end of Sarah's barrenness and the birth of Isaac. So too, the Haftarah chosen by our sages for the first day of Rosh Hashanah recounts the story of a barren woman whose prayers are answered by the birth of a child. Hannah, a woman of deep piety and spiritual grace, presents a model of heartfelt prayer and integrity that contrasts sharply with the behavior of Eli, the high priest. Hannah cries out to God in bitterness of spirit, and she is given life. Like her, may